Mariners win 8-4. They improve to 22-19 on the season, and they take 2 of 3 in the series against the Oakland Athletics. Go over the scoring plays like we always do. Mariners get on the board first with a Mitch Garver single to score Dylan Moore, 1-0 at the end of one. Mariners really put things together in the second. Sam Haggerty singles home Ty France. Dylan Moore hits a sacrifice fly to score Luis Urias. And Julio Rodriguez homers to center to score Sam Haggerty to make it 5-0 at the end of the second. A's get a solo homer in the fifth. Excuse me. Can't go backwards. Get a solo homer in the fifth to make it 5-1. But the Mariners get a Mitch Garver homer to score Julio Rodriguez, who just missed a homer as well. 7-1 at the end of 5. Abraham Toro homers in the sixth off of Luis Castillo to make it 7-2. But congrats to Sebi Zavala on his first homer as a Mariner, 8-2 at the end of 6. And then Brett Rooker, the ball was just flying. Marine layer who? Brett Rooker homers to left off of, I believe it was Cody Bolton, to make it 8-4 at the end of the 8th. Mariners do hang on and get a pretty needed victory. You can tell me all you want about May 12th and Happy Mother's Day, and we'll talk about that in a second. But a series loss here would have felt atrocious. Absolutely atrocious, especially with how you played on Saturday, right? But you don't. You get the win. Any negatives to talk about in this game? There's not a ton if there are. Ty France had a rough one. The only way he gets on is the pressure. The pressure of that speed causing an error by the shortstop. That was a rough day for him. Mitch Haniger had another really rough day. It's pretty much the end of the negatives for the offense, in my humble estimation. For the pitching, Cody Bolton does not look good. I think that's the guy you really got to look at replacing the most in this bullpen. I'm sure they like his stuff a lot, and that's fine. It's not working. It's not working well enough. You know, he pitches poor enough that you have to use Munoz in a game that you should not have had to use Andres Munoz. Fortunately, he only throws 9 pitches. We'll talk about him in the positives in a second, but that's really the only negatives here. Just a couple of bad games from guys who have had a lot of bad games lately, unfortunately. And Cody Bolton's tough to trust. You know who I can always trust? Simply Seattle. The very best in Seattle sports gear. Awesome stuff for the Mariners, of course, but the Seahawks, the Kraken, the Rainiers, the Sounders, the Storm, Huskies, Cougars. You can find it all at simplyseattle.com. Once you're ready to check out, use code MOLLYWOP15, MOLLYWOP15. There's a link in the description. You can just copy and paste that code, put it right into the checkout. Bada boom, bada bing. He just saved a bunch of money. Thank you so much, Simply Seattle. Luis Castillo was good. Wasn't great, but he was good. Had to battle a little bit. And the ace, maybe this is, I'm sure people point out, actually, Luis Castillo has a 0.08 ERA against. There have been some games I've seen against Oakland where he's had to kind of battle through some stuff. And I don't think he had his best stuff tonight. Certainly didn't have his best command. And again, command and control, not the same thing. So before you come and yell at me and say, he didn't walk anybody, Christopher. First of all, don't call me Christopher. Call me Mr. No, you can call me whatever you want. Command and control are not the same thing. So he did miss his spots quite a bit tonight. But good enough. More than good enough. And Oakland's lineup is better than their pitching. It's better than their pitching. There are some hitters here who are having good years. Brett Rooker being one of them. I would love to have Brett Rooker on the Mariners. Would love it. Shea Langoliers is going to be a solid backstop for a long time. Abraham Toro is playing really well right now. The curse of the ex-Mariners. Of course, it's worth pointing out Abraham Toro was absolute crap with Milwaukee. So doesn't always even out like that, but there are some decent hitters. So I think Castillo pitched more than fine. You'll sign up for this. 6 innings of 2-run baseball. He will sign up for it. Would have been nice if he could have gotten a little deeper, but I think you do have to credit Oakland a little bit. At least a smidgen. A tiny morsel. Offensively, you know who we're going to end with. Really nice day from Mitch Garver. The big RBI single in the first. That 2-run homer to just kind of put the game to bed. Awesome game from him. Sam Haggerty, big RBI. Sebi Zavala showed a little pop, you know. The day the Mariners hit 3, and I believe Oakland hit 3 as well. The ball was jumping. The ball was certainly jumping. It was just so good to see Julio have a game like this. And I think it's worth pointing out, I focused a lot on the negative side of Julio's game and yesterday and how the flaws are frustrating. And flaws for anyone are frustrating, right? But it's worth pointing out he hit a couple of missiles last night. And, you know, he was 0 for 10 coming into the series, but he had some good games against Minnesota too. It's frustrating only because our expectations are through the gosh dang roof with this dude. But I think you've seen, if you just only watched Julio swing the bat over the last 2 games, if all you saw was him swing the bat and make contact with the baseball over the last 2 games, you would say, oh, this guy's totally fine. There's nothing to worry about. Now, you can't do that. And you see the results, and they've been mixed at best, and mixed is probably too nice. Of all the hitters that played today, the only player that had a lower slugging percentage of him that has had a decent amount of bats, Sam Haggerty does not count yet, is Polanco. He's still not slugging as high as Ty France. There are still things that Julio Rodriguez has to work on. He's 23 years old. You have to acknowledge that. There are no perfect 23-year-old players. Well, there was one. His name was Mike Trout. And if the biggest complaint you have about Julio Rodriguez is he's not Mike Trout, you're doing pretty darn well. The base running stuff can be frustrating. The occasional miscues on calling off fielders, frustrating, but forgivable. It's all forgivable based on the production this guy has given you over the last 2 years. And if you take a deeper look, yes, J-Rod has to be better. But there are more than enough flashes to suggest this isn't something to go crazy over. We should be thanking our lucky stars that we have a player like Julio Rodriguez playing for the Seattle Mariners. Awesome. You know, even his out, that very first at bat, he just got under it a little bit. In the summer months, that ball's going to go out of the park. Speaking of summer months, the ball that just barely didn't get out, that's getting out too. And then he draws a walk as well. The dude is still a superstar. The results are frustrating. Go take a look at some of the other stars in baseball. There's lots of guys who are disappointing right now. It's the quarter point of the year. So yes, when he has crappy games, I'm going to point it out. But there are a lot of you who it almost seems like you're rooting for this. You want to lament or gravel is what I should say. Whatever that word's supposed to be. I'm so tired. I worked 5 to 1 today, and then I had my niece's recital, which was awesome, but, you know, does take time. I love Julio Rodriguez. I love him. And I think most of you too. Some of you, I think, give him way too much tough love. Maybe I'm coddling him. It doesn't matter. What we say doesn't matter. It's up to Julio Rodriguez. But I don't know. Happy for Julio. Happy for a day like today. But I will be honest with you. Today was a tough day. Very quickly, happy Mother's Day to all the moms out there. In particular, I mean every mom, thank you. But you single moms out there, who happy Mother's Day. The world owes you a huge, huge debt of gratitude. Today was the first Mother's Day since my mom passed. And it was really hard. It was really hard. And I'm not going to lie to you. So I did miss the original game. I ended up watching the recorded replay. I needed this one. And I needed something like that from Julio today. So hard. It is so hard. Watching my nieces, which are my mom's grandchildren, and knowing how proud she would be. And then thinking back about how proud she would be about hosting on KJR. So this one's for you, Cheri Huck. I miss you so much. So that's a series win. And now you have a really interesting 3-game series against the Royals with some interesting pitching matchups. You got Kirby against Brady Singer, and Brady Singer at times has looked phenomenal. Gilbert against Michael Wacha. Wacha's obviously had his fair share of success. And Wu against Marsh. Marsh just coming off the injured list and pitched really well against the Angels not that long ago. I think it's important to win this series because of what you have coming up. That 9-game road trip. And all due respect to Washington, it's a 6-game road trip plus 3 against Washington. Baltimore and New York are phenomenal baseball teams. Phenomenal baseball teams. So, great win. I would appreciate if you hit like and subscribe. We're getting so close to 1,500. We've got 19 days left to hit that 1,500 mark by the end of May. I'd really appreciate it if we can get there. I appreciate it anyway, but you know what I mean. I'm sorry that I got emotional there. I just miss her so much. And in the last 7 months, I have lost my mom, I have lost my dad, and I have lost my best friend in my dog. And it's been a lot. So I really appreciate you guys showing that support, showing that love, because I need it.